Good morning, Cycle 4 lifers. What do we got going today? I lost enough fluid on a couple of long drives that I actually got the engine hot one day. And the floor was wet, the engine's hot. I knew, uh-oh, I'm losing coolant, you know. So I let it cool down. I let it cool down a fair amount. And then what I did was I put ambient water back in the engine to refill it. And ever since I did that, my temperature gauge will not go up to the normal line where it normally runs at. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it normally runs not at the half mark, but the quarter mark. Okay. Now that gauge, everybody knows the old school General Motor gauges are not accurate. Just because 260's red halfway does not mean 130, okay? And 0 doesn't mean 0. That means how hot is the engine supposed to be versus where it is and the range that it functions in. And those numbers really don't mean much of anything. But when you have a 185 to 190 degree thermostat and you're running down the road with no load and everything's normal, this gauge on this truck with this engine typically runs on that first line, okay? Now that I've refilled the water in my cooling system that went down and leaked and got a little bit hot one day, and I know it didn't damage the engine. Why do I know it didn't damage the engine? Because I still have full compression. I got a good running engine. I'm still getting the same long distance mileage I ever was. It never hurt anything. It just got warm on the gauge for a quick minute and I turned it off and then saw that the water was getting low. Okay, so ever since I poured ambient water back in that hot engine, I think I ruined the thermostat, because now when I drive on a hot engine, see where the needle is now? That's as hot as it gets. It will not go up to that line. It will not do it. So does that mean the engine's not getting hot? Or does that mean my gauge is bad? Or does that mean my sender's bad? Or does it mean my thermostat got ruined when I put ambient water in on a real hot thermostat? It's my opinion that I damaged the thermostat. Okay? And because I damaged the thermostat, the engine's never really getting up to full operating temperature. And the other reason I'm verifying that is because when I turn the defroster on full hot, full high, and put my hand up over the dash, I'm not getting hot air on the defroster. So this has to be fixed. We're coming into winter. I'm going to need heat. I'm going to need a defroster. These hoses are about 3-4 years old. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to replace them anyway and save these old ones as spares because they're good in good shape. There's nothing wrong with them, but they're cheap. So I'm going to throw upper and lower hose at this. I had to drain the coolant system anyway to get the core out and to change the thermostat. So while we're doing all this, I'm just going to go over the whole coolant system. Thermostat, heater core, hoses, all of it. Fresh coolant. We're going to get it all done. It's a bit of a job. It's a process. So I'm going to show you guys how I started. I pulled the lower hose, drained it in this bucket, put it in a receptacle to try to be environmentally conscious. I put this cardboard underneath the bottom to catch all the drips that the bucket missed or splattered. Try to catch as much as I can, keep the little animals and birdies safe, okay? I pulled these hoses to let, you know, air flow through everything, let it leak down as much as is humanly possible. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, okay guys, I said the hoses were good and I was just changing them out of precaution. Well, look at this one. See where that one's actually bulging around the clamp and it's getting weak all around that area? The firmness up here is strong and solid, but right here where it got a little bit hot in the past or just wear and tear, it's real weak and flimsy there. So I am changing the hoses for good cause now. It's not just preventative maintenance. It's actually looks like that one's going to fail in the next year or so. So we'll get that hose off, get down into that thermostat, and make sure the thermostat they sold us at the parts store is actually going to fit. The thermostat, the housing cover off. I'm leaving the thermostat in until I scrape all the gasket material off of that surface. Because if you pull the thermostat out and then scrape it, you'll knock all that boogery goo down into your engine. So leave the thermostat there, scrape it first, and then pull it out. I hate to almost always be right, it's painful, but Look, that thermostat is stuck wide open and it's cold. So what caused that? Well, it's my fault, but what caused it was the engine got hot, it ran low on coolant, I saw the needle go up on the gauge, I pulled over, let it cool down, but I didn't let it cool down long enough. And when I replaced the water in the coolant system, this was open like this, and that cold water went down and ruined that beeswax in there, and it destroyed this thermostat. Okay, so that's why my defrost wouldn't get warm, and that's why I couldn't get any heat out. So definitely new time for thermostat. That is stone cold, and it should not be open like that. Took a razor blade and scraped most of the roughage off that thermostat housing. So you could get a flat plate and a piece of sandpaper. If I was at work, that's what I'd do, because I have a flat plate with stuff there to use. But if you're just at home and you want to clean up your thermostat housing, just find a nice piece of flat concrete. I know it's not machine grade, wow, but you just do that. You get a nice flat clean surface, and then when you go in there with your high heat Yamabond, which is what I use, I'm a motorcycle guy, so I have access to Yamabond. It's some of the best stuff ever made. If you want to use it in the automotive industry, you know, you can use the Permatex grade high temperature coolant seal or whatever, but that'll give some micro scratches for the goo to set into. And then put your gasket down first, goop it on both sides, lay your thermostat on top, and sandwich that. You guys got me. I was wrong. I was wrong once in the 70s. It happened again. This lip for this thermostat's built into the intake manifold. Okay, so after you scrape all that goo off nice and flat and clean on your intake manifold, there's a groove there. There's a lip that thermostat sits in. Okay. So you do not want to do what I just said, which is put the gasket and then put the thermostat on top. You put the thermostat down first, and then the gasket goes on top. Which way does the thermostat go in the engine? It does not go that way, because the beeswax is down here where my thumb's touching. Okay, it's down in the cylindrical part, not the dome part. So you put the cylindrical part down. That's what senses the temperature of the water, and it needs to be closest to the engine. Okay, in the intake manifold, like it is there, and the dome goes up, and the dome fits up inside the bulb of the housing. Okay, get some goo. You don't want to go hog wild, but you want to get a good amount all the way around. All right, here we go. So that's what you do to get the nice gasket in there, get it nice and level on top of a good thermostat, and then you set this in there. When I started the engine, I want to see if this thermostat stays closed and heats the engine up. I think it is. I started the engine and ran it for a minute, not long, maybe 3 minutes, 3 minutes maybe. And then I stopped to turn the key off, and then I opened the radiator cap to bleed any air out, because you got to bleed the air out of these cooling systems. They trap air everywhere. And I got some pressure built up on the coolant hose. And when I popped the cap, I got spooge pressurizing its way out. So the coolant system's holding pressure. Yeah, look at that. It's firm already now. Coolant system's holding pressure. And it sprayed out and splattered everywhere when I popped the cap. So I'm assuming that thermostat is going to stay closed and heat this engine up. I mean, there's the needle. There's the coolant needle right there. There's the coolant needle. That's actually already higher than I've seen it go in the last month of driving it. Watch your fingers around that fan. By God's grace, don't get your finger behind that fan shroud and cut your fingers off. Modern day automobiles, you kids, you millennials learning to work on cars, you got all these safety fan covers and electric fans that don't have any power with plastic blades, what won't cut you. These old school American made trucks, Chevys, Fords, Chryslers, whatever, they got a big metal fan back there, and there's no safety behind it. Okay, you get your fingers behind that shroud while that thing's running and it will take your fingers off. So you kids that learn on these new vehicles and go back to working on old stuff, pay attention to what you're doing. So why do I have pressure and no heat? Why do I have pressure and no heat? Right? But yet the needle's probably climbing. Yep, there's the needle going up. Okay, here's the answer. The engine's getting hot and the coolant in the block is getting hot. But there's lots of air bubbles everywhere. But it's important to test this stuff, guys. You know, I just put 2 new hoses on there. I got a thermostat and a gasket in there. You want to make sure that you don't have any leaks. Oh, I got the filter cover back on it now. You can't really see the thermostat too well with that air filter on it. See if we can get a better shot from this angle. I mean, you want to look up in there where your thermostat's at. Yeah, there it is. See, you don't see any coolant. There's no leaks. There's no water dripping down on the manifold. You know, everything's dry where that Yamabon was sealing up that that gasket. And look, here we go. We're coming up to normal. That quarter mark is normal for operating temperature on this gauge with this engine with that sender. So I'm 100% confident now that I did not damage the sender before. All I damaged was the thermostat. Let's see if we can get warm, hot air out of the defroster. Turn the defroster on, turn it in the hot position, turn the fan. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, I haven't had hot defrost like that in a long time, since probably middle of the summer. And I still don't have any heat on that radiator hose. So maybe that's because there's a lot of air bubbles and air pockets in the coolant system. Let's see how hot it's getting. It's not getting hot. Still not getting any heat in that radiator. Let's see if we got a big air bubble. Let's see if we got a big air bubble. Yeah, that thermostat's probably open by now. So that thermostat's open by now. We're still not getting any heat. What's that tell you? Tells you there's air in there. So this is going to be ugly. Don't do this at home, boys and girls. See it coming out? Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's hot. Yeah. Okay, I'm convinced. I'm convinced that the thermostat did its job. There's hot water starting to cycle through. There's air bubbles in the top of the cooling system. That's why the upper radiator hose is very cold. But I just got steam coming out of that radiator cap. So that means there's air bubbles in there steaming up. So I'm going to let the system cool down. Wait till I can get the radiator cap popped off of it cool, you know, nice and cool. Fill those air bubbles up with coolant and top that off. And then we're done, guys. I mean, it's holding pressure. The thermostat's working. The coolant system's building pressure. All I got to do is get the air out of it. We're going to have a happy system here. So, because there's a lot of educational information here. I don't do it for money. I just do it because I love you guys. Wear your helmets. Be safe. And, you know, share this video, because if somebody gets into one of my educational videos about motorcycles, it might save a life. All right, guys. Thanks. Peace out.